first thing about Scribe, I noticed this when I picked this up after, gosh, it had been maybe a month since I used this, and it's still 71%, and it came on as quickly as that. It didn't have to go through the whole boot screen and show me the person under the tree or anything like that. It, you know, wakes up really, really good. And the Scribe is a great Kindle that you can write on, okay? So now, the 300 ppi screen, this is the point here, and I'm gonna go to the Kindle app in here. I think that's the fairest comparison really, and then I'll look at the drawing app as well. I'm gonna go to the Kindle app here, and I'm gonna find a written book as well. Let's have a little look. I've got all the kids' books I read to my children, and I've got the one I'm actually reading here, which is the Wind Up Bird Chronicle. Thanks Patty Smith for the recommendation. She didn't personally write to me, but I read one of her books and she recommended that. So that was awesome. Hopefully we're gonna get the same text, same font and everything, I would hope as well. And we'll see whether there's any issues, any difference that you can see just now with it not having that front light layer. Turn it right off for fairness as well. And you saw it was on there. It hasn't made much of a difference, that kind of medium-ish amount of front light that it had on there. The comment that I had that sort of sparked this little segment really, which was, what can this do that the Kindle Scribe can't? So there's a lot it can do, but the real question is, can this do everything that the Scribe can do? And the answer is yes. And can it do more? Yes. So this can do absolutely everything you can do over here on the Kindle Scribe, but this can do a whole lot more as well. The question is kind of asked the wrong way around really. You can read all your Kindles and you can make notes on here, and you can do all of those things. So I've got some text, not exactly the same text, there we are, but I've got some text that we can make that comparison with. So this can do everything that the Scribe can do, but it can do a whole lot more. So that's the way around it is really. The only thing I can think of that the Scribe has, I guess there's two actually, the only things that I can think of are the tilt pen, and you can, nice and neatly, you can send your notes from this as a transcribed PDF, but it looks like they're handwritten PDF, but you can highlight them and you can copy them out as typed text. So it will do text recognition on the device now, or in the cloud or something, and then you can actually send that PDF to yourself. But you have to get it by email first of all, and then you have to like copy and paste the thing out there, you know, whereas, so let's say you wanted to put that text into Word eventually, whereas I can just go in here and I can work in Docs, or I can work in my Word app, and I can write directly into the app where I want it to be eventually. I can write directly into the document rather than having to sort of write it and then transcribe it. And I can use handwriting recognition on here if I want to. I could just, but I don't have to wait for it to do it. I can just do real-time handwriting recognition. I can just have it recognize my handwriting. And it should just do it. Yeah, every single word, bit of that. And you saw that was pretty scruffy handwriting there. And there it is, that bit of text will just be in Word, saved to my OneDrive, no messing about at all. So that's, one up straight away on the Kindle Scribe. It was many up actually, in my opinion. The other thing is the tilt pen, which is really cool on here. I do like the tilt pen on here as well. I think this is the single best pencil tool. This is really nice and sensitive. And I've done some really nice drawings on here, but watch me struggle to find the blooming things because of the very, it's in notebooks, isn't it? You never know, it might be really easy, and then I'll laugh. Oh yeah, because I put them in a folder, didn't I? And you can see I'm having to, put up with a refresh all the time. Yeah, put them in drawings. Good. You can do some really nice drawings on here, but so can you on here. And the screen is a nice texture on here, but the screen is a nice texture on here as well. There's not a lot of difference between those two. I would say if you're wondering what's got the nicer texture, it seems to be quite an often question. If you're wondering between the Remarkable, the Kindle Scribe and the new Boox Go, they're all basically the same. They're all as good as each other. And let's find the drawings that I've done on here. One of them, this is my most recent one. It does take a bit of time here to actually load sometimes when you've got a lot of pen lines, because this is more meant for writing than it is for drawing. But this doesn't have a lot of things this does have, like this doesn't have layers in here as well. There are lots of reasons why this is a far better device than the Scribe. And sure, one of the big things about the Scribe is probably you'll find it for over £100 cheaper. You can find out the latest prices of any of these from the links in the description. You do me a big favor as well. There's not a lot really there to recommend the Scribe. Let's have a good look at the edge of it now. So you'll see the edge. See, there's a little shadow there. You see that little shadow? Because there is a little gap between the top of the screen and the actual e-ink screen beneath it. If I draw on this, you'll see there is a little bit more of a gap. Go to a pen. You can perhaps make out there is a little bit of a gap. It's not bad. I think I'm going to have to get the macro camera out for some full reviews and get that really focused in nicely for you. But certainly there is a little bit more of a gap here between the top of the screen and the thing. It's not a big deal. And look, you might well want that light, and the light is good, but you can see I've had the light off the entire time, and it just, you know, it isn't really necessary in most well-lit conditions or even medium conditions with a black and white screen. So great things on here. I said amazing battery, amazing wake up. I was amazed by that earlier on when I got it out just to check it was charged and everything was ready on it, and that I'd been sat there for all that time, and it took about maybe 2 seconds, and I was in the menus already checking that it had an update, whether it needed an update before the live stream. And it was left on 70% battery life. So it sat there on this very low power mode that it's got, just ready to go at any point. And that's great for an e-reader. Something you just kind of forget until you've got that time to read, and then it's ready, charged up, and you can just bung it in your bag and know that it'll last you a whole holiday, a whole trip, or whatever. Okay, so the clarity in Boox as well, let's just go back to a bit of text, bit of a close-up. This is the Go. And you'll see not a lot of difference. Very similar screens. Both looking great. Pretty much the same kind of quality. And then talked about drawing as well, both good. So what can the Kindle Scribe do that Boox Go 10.3 can't? Very, very little. I would strongly recommend that is where you're aiming for if you're interested in the ink tablet. The Scribe, its biggest recommendation is its price, and you can get some really good deals on it. Very true as well. You know, if you pay for the same storage on the Scribe, it starts at 16, I think I'm right in saying, which is the cheapest. I would buy the refurbished ones if I was buying one right now. Yeah, so the Kindle Scribe can sit there next to a bed, absolutely, and all the writing goes on the go. That's great. Look, what about the whiteness screen? Can you see it? Really nice and white, really lovely white. Compared to the color that I've been used to, it's been refreshing, frankly. Mostly books are study books. Always reading and note taking at the same time, so probably wouldn't need the front light. No, exactly, yeah. So it's not a bedtime reader really, is it? And you can do that really well in Kindle and everything like this, and you can have side by side like this, and you can very quickly open a notebook or another book, and you can be annotating right next to it, just like this, which is great. I think that's absolutely great. And you can even, in the PDFs, you can have a linked book notebook as well. So you can have your study PDF here, and you can have a notebook that is permanently linked to that one as well. You can even make these different sizes now, I believe. So if you need a bit more room for anything. You can see though, that doing that full refresh, you see it's not sized very well actually, the UI for the notes when it's been squashed up there. But they'll notice that and they'll improve that as well. But you see there's lots of good options there, things that you certainly can't do on the Kindle Scribe, for example. You can use any Wacom EMR with any of these, although there's slight difference in the calibration for the pressure levels. The biggest different one seems to be the Remarkable. The Remarkable seems to be the most out of sync in terms of the pressure levels than any other. So watch for typing, would I go for A2 or X? I rarely go for the very fastest mode on these. So I would go A2. In fact, I think I did it all in speed actually. I think I might well have done it all in speed because I accept that little bit of lag, but X mode on non-BSR devices, and BSR is the Boox Super Refresh that makes it really, really good. But generally X mode gives you too much ghosting for my taste, and you get this real loss of clarity, you get this real loss of contrast as well. So there's rarely a reason why I would go below A2, and really I'd only really go between normal and speed. That's all I really do, because speed is kind of fast enough for most things. Good question.